Hey guys, welcome back to the lab. The little race car is taking a holiday next door, and the utes outside. Where's the trailer? I did mention something about trailer earlier on, didn't I? There it is. So I built this one. There's a bit of I'll do a quick story on it. I was borrowing a trailer from some mates every now and then for a 300 ZX that I had to take it to race car meetings, obviously. And there was a big meeting down in Manfield. It's called the Jamboree. It's run by Four and Rotary Promotions. It's a pretty awesome event. And like on the Thursday before that weekend, it's about a 4 or 5 hour drive from Hamilton here. I asked my mates if I could borrow their trailer, and they told me they'd sold it. Sold half of it. And the new owner did not want to loan the trailer out anymore. So I did what any insane person would do at that point in time. Friday morning I went and bought some materials. By, I think it was 12 o'clock on the Friday, first piece of material was cut with the saw, and just try and get the time right. I think it was about 2 o'clock, or might have been 3 o'clock on the Saturday. The trailer was registered, warranted, road legal behind the ute with the 300 ZX on it, heading down to Manfield. So there were a couple of issues with it because I smashed it together in such a quick time. Made a wee bit of a mistake with the guards. I didn't realise they're asymmetric. So this edge here, from there to there, is actually shorter on the front than it is on the back. So I didn't pick up on that. Too much of a rush. My bad. Smashed it all together. Had one around the wrong way. Didn't set up the clearances for the tyres correctly. So when you hit a big bump, hit the guard with the tyre and pop those little mounts off that were holding the guard. So that was a bit funny, I guess. Desert road I don't know, it was getting dark, and all sorts of things to get a guard hanging back onto the trailer, some strops and stuff. But hey, whatever, we got down there and we got the weekend done. It was awesome, and we came back and the other guard started to fall off on the way back. So repaired that, and that was good. Went for quite some time, pretty nicely, with no drama at all. Then we started having trouble with the mounts for the guards, which aren't really strong enough, to be fair. You'll see there's a rather disgusting looking weld going on just now, to tie this together so we can get the car to Leadfoot. Probably not really thick enough wall tube for what it's doing. And also these, what are they? Double star. Now that inspires you with confidence, doesn't it? Any tyre with a name like Double Star or Road King or Super Duty or anything like that, don't touch in the junk. So these aren't actually even round, and the problem they cause, ironically being sponsored by Nexon and not having Nexons on the trailer, I know, we'll get around to it. The problem they cause is they vibrate like this. It sends all those vibrations through the trailer, and it grabs hold of these steel guards, which one day I will replace with checker plate, actually tread plate. If you look in my stack on the wall over there behind the bag with the car cover, is actually the material to do it. I just don't have the time, is the problem. So this bounces up and down like this vigorously, makes lots of noise, etc. And what it does, if you look carefully, you'll see flexes that bracket that holds it at the back. So it's not actually the weight of the guard coming up and down, it's the shape of the guard causing it to push it backwards and forwards that's causing the problem. So just to get us to Leadfoot, I've welded that up. It will fail again at some point in time, it's guaranteed. I just don't want it happening this weekend. So what I've done is I've made these. Well, I've made one so far, I'll make the others soon, right? So that goes there. I'll put a few welds onto that, and that will stop that being able to bounce backwards and forwards, and our guards will hang together. Now someone's going to put their foot on that, I guarantee it, because it's tread plate, and they're going to stand on it, and that's probably going to end very badly. So I'll have to put a couple of braces underneath somehow, just quickly, just to hold it together, just for the sake of that. Because if someone stands directly on that, it's going to break that mount, guaranteed. I have taken care of that issue to some extent to make it safer, like closing in the guard, riveting this onto here, riveting that onto there. So even when those mounts fail, the whole guard's supported anyway. You'd have to have both of them fail completely, and then it might start getting to the point where it may fall off if you don't pay attention and don't hear it rattling and banging and clanging for an hour or so. Then it might pop off the trailer. Anyway, enough talking about the trailer. I'll get those on. I'll show you the finished result. I might do all four corners, might as well, because if I do the backs and not the fronts are just going to fail straight away. And then we'll talk about what we've done with the car, get the car on trailer, and we'll head on up to Leadfoot. Okay, so trailer's all sorted. I've put on those pieces I was talking about. A little bit of an issue on that corner there, just because of where I ran the wire. The wire on the other one actually went in between the guard and the trailer there, so it was okay. I could weld all the way up to this corner. Couldn't do it on this one. That's hardwired onto the trailer. Short on time. That'll do for now. And I've actually tested them. You can stand on these. They're not bad. They're pretty strong. So if somebody does do that, it's not going to destroy them straight away anyway. So that's stabilised that whole thing a lot. It's still going to move around the middle like that. I could put a brace in the middle, but don't want to. And it just stops the end, like I say, it stops the end splaying backwards and forwards with that bouncing. So there we go. I didn't mention the whole trailer's 325 kgs. So it's pretty handy. If you get stuck in a tight spot, you can actually just pick it up and shift it. Two people really to pick up the whole back of the trailer, but if you're really stuck, you can do it by yourself, so that's quite cool. Alright, let's get this on the back of the ute, get the car on trailer. So, 6:15, I'm going to call it a day. We're nearly there, very nearly there. We've got our little trolley here, some tools going in the toolbox, some basic fluids, some of them are Repco, some of them are Aegis oil, some engine oil, a little bit of gearbox oil, not much else. Not going to take a plethora of tools, just the very basics, some Allen keys, some big crescents. I'll raid the toolbox for a few sockets and screwdrivers and things like that, a few spare nuts and bolts and washers, some fuses and relays. I'll chuck in a couple of bits of wire and terminals and things like that. To be honest, if it gets much harder than that, then hey, it's only supposed to be a fun weekend, you know, so that'll be the end of that. That's basically the pile of dead bits from skid pan. So there's the centre of the front diff that died and basically triggered the whole thing. There's the wheel that got absolutely smoked. There's a busted tie rod and tie rod end, and there's most of the lower control arm that was busted and the rod end that goes into that. So not too bad, all things considered. Everything else was pretty much repaired. There's a little bit of wrap. There's front splitter, of course, which is actually leaning against the wall there as a spare, just in case. The original front wheel, that's our spare. Trusty laptop, bit of fuel, fire extinguisher, and a battery. A battery I can use with our 240 volt adapter thingy there, dooflicky. And I can charge my cell phone because the reception's pretty bad there, so the cell phone chews up the energy quite quickly. There's the ute all ready to go, sitting in the driveway, and car under the cover, all nice and clean, tidy, ready to go. Showed you these before. Quite happy with how that came out. Can actually stand on it, don't recommend it, but can be done if you have to. So checked out the whole trailer. Trailer's good, it's not going to fall to pieces on the way. Check the ute, she's good. All I've got to do is get there now. Alright, so like I say, I'll do a couple of videos. In fact, there may be 3 or 4. We might break it down to each run perhaps. So we get about 4 runs at Leadfoot, so there might be 4, maybe 5 videos to come through from that, just to keep them short. Otherwise it'd be like an hour and a half of footage and you guys wouldn't want to watch that. We'll have a chat with Paul and we'll go through what happens on the weekend. Alright, like, share, subscribe, and fingers crossed everything goes well for getting there tomorrow. Cheers, boy!